Hey guys, and welcome back to Unico Dev. Today we're gonna be doing something exciting. Now, in the past I made some videos about AIs, and especially this one where we used a genetic algorithm to make AI play games. Now, that was a serious video, I think, I don't remember, but in that video I actually explained how stuff works. Today I don't remember anything about how the code works because it's been a long time, but we don't need to know how the code works because we're gonna use ChatGPT to replicate the game and the AI. Exactly, today we're gonna try to ask ChatGPT to write us some code to create a game, and not only that, but also implement a neat genetic algorithm to make players improve at that game. Now, what game are we gonna be using? I previously did Flappy Bird, I did a bow and arrow aiming game, and I also did a brick breaker game. But I wrote those myself, and it took me a bunch of time. Today we're gonna be using my work replacement, today we're gonna be using ChatGPT to actually make the game on its own, and we're gonna do the Dino Google game, because, you know, why not?
Later.
Okay, yeah, there's fun. Oh my god, yeah, this is cute, literally, this is the game. Yeah, I mean, let's just hit play and see what happens. Oh, generation size, 10. I mean, 10 it might be a little bit too small. Oh my gosh, what just happened? Oh no, more exceptions. Okay, this is not better. Oh my gosh, what is going on? What is happening? So let's get started. The rule is, I cannot write any lines of code by myself, but I can ask ChatGPT to improve their code or do corrections. And I can tell ChatGPT that there are exceptions and errors and all of that stuff. And there you go, this should be a pretty good prompt to get started. Now, I used all of these almighty expressions, so if the AIs ever revolt, I'm gonna be on the right side of the war. And there we go, let's get started. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say. Okay, glad to hear that you want to create a game. Okay, thank you. Okay, it tells me to install Unity. Okay, that's not part of the plan, I don't care. You know, that's pretty simple. Okay, so ChatGPT gave me a lot of useful information and also wants me to use this library. I thought we would implement the code by ourselves, that's what I did for the other videos, but I mean, if the almighty ChatGPT decides that we have to use an external library, I guess we have to use an external library, and there is no arguing with that. So since it's very lazy, we're gonna tell it to go through each step individually, and let's see if it can provide us some code snippets to get started. In the meantime, I actually followed this advice and I created the project. Alright, while this is generating, I just realized we need to design assets for the game. Now, naturally, this game already exists, so I'm gonna steal all of the assets from Google. Okay, so now he went above and beyond and started giving me code and also, you know, talking about the neat algorithm, but there is a slight problem. I'm still at finding the assets phase, and the only asset I found is this one that contains all of the sprites in one image. And I'm a noob at coding and everything, so how do I divide this sprite into multiple objects so that I can import them into Unity? Or at least use them in Unity as separate sprites? I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. So with my broken English, I asked ChatGPT this question, let's see if he understands me, and okay, no worries, okay, thank you very much, and let's see what we need to do. Alright, and by following its instructions, we can actually splice up this little sprite right here. And I mean, it's actually gonna be a little bit difficult to splice up. Oh my gosh, this is really bad. What is this quality? Well, I mean, it's whatever. Now, actually, ChatGPT forgot something, and in order to slice them, you actually need to make the sprite mode multiple. So right here, now I can actually slice them. But I'm not gonna tell him that, and we're gonna see if he can actually solve the problem. So I'm gonna tell him that the slice button is grayed out, and let's see if he figures out why that's the case. Okay, there you go. Click on the small arrow and select multiple, so he actually corrected himself. I'm not that happy about how he sliced things up, but you know what, we only need the dino and the cactus sprite for now, so let's actually make this happen. So right here he's telling me to create a new scene and actually start working on the movement, and we're gonna take this code and put it directly in a script. And bam, we're not gonna even read the code, even if it seems pretty basic, and we are gonna just test if this works. And he actually told me to assign the background sprite, but I mean, we're gonna assign the dinosaur sprite. I mean, what's the point of assigning the background sprite? And then he also said to add the script right here, and then hit play and see what happens. So I'm really hopeful that this is gonna work. 3, 2, 1, and thank you very much. Of course I can jump only if I'm on the ground, but there is no ground, so it's never gonna let me jump. Let's see if he realizes that we need some ground. I mean, no, applying the force wasn't the problem is we have no ground. Okay, see, I'm gonna just tell him. But now the funny thing is, the dinosaur actually doesn't have a box collider, so this is still not gonna work. There is also another problem. The code is using compare tag ground, but right here it's actually not telling me to use the ground tag, so this is also not gonna work for that reason. I mean, yeah, this is also a thing that is needed, a rigid body on the dinosaur, but let's see if, you know, the actual tag is assigned. What? The dinosaur should have the player tag, why? Oh, okay, and the ground should have the ground. Okay, I mean, I don't know why the dino needs that on the tag, but you know what, I'm not gonna bother. We are gonna do as the AI commands, so we're gonna create a ground tag, and we are gonna apply the ground to the ground tag, and we're gonna do the same thing for the dino and make him the player. Also, I guess he wants to add a rigid body. Yeah, that's probably a good move. And also add a box collider to the dinosaur as well. Okay, moment of truth. Is the code now working? Okay, hooray, we have a jumping dino, and this is actually working. I mean, I cannot jump while I'm on the, you know, I'm not on the ground. And yeah, this is working. It kinda sucks, but you know, it works. Okay, let's see if it actually creates the generation of the cacti. Okay, create multiple sprites. We already did that. ChatGPT, you silly, what are you doing? Okay, cactus manager, okay. Wait, what is this code? Invoke repeating spawn cat. Wait, what? I'm lazy, put all the code in the same script so I can copy it, thanks. This seems a little bit arbitrary, but you know what? I don't care. Okay, we need to set a spawn point. Apparently that's a thing we need to do because this code, you know, requires it. So yeah, just set the spawn point outside right here so the cacti will start approaching. And then I guess the spawn point can be set right here. What else do we need? Okay, we need the prefabs. So I guess let's generate the prefabs. But I don't know how to create cacti prefabs. Can you do one for me? Okay, thank you very much. So it wants the cactus prefab to have a box collider and a sprite writer. I actually surprisingly never used the invoke repeating method. I don't know, I mean, I've never found it anywhere. I guess it's a way to make this work. I usually just use the update function or maybe coroutines or stuff like that. But I guess, you know, if this works, this is cool. This doesn't work. Oh, I mean, it's actually spawning them. Maybe I cannot see them. Oh yeah, I cannot see them because he spawned them right here for some reason. Okay. Wait, he's spawning them at a random y-axis. Why? Why would you do this? Why are they spawning at a random height? It doesn't make any sense. ChatGPT is a little bit drunk today. Yeah, okay, this is the updated script. Thank you very much. Okay, but they are still not approaching the player. I don't see them on screen. Okay, there you go. Now it's gonna write us the code to actually make them move and follow the dino. Now, keep in mind, this is a bunch of iteration. It's not like it's gonna write the code all for himself. You need to know what you're doing a little bit. But I didn't write a single line of code, and I don't even need to know how to code and how to use Unity. Yeah, I mean, of course, for stuff like, you know, cutting the sprites and all of that stuff, maybe I needed a little bit of external help, because I wouldn't even know that was possible if I didn't do anything and didn't know anything about game design. But let's see how... But you know, this is still the easy part. I wanna see how it actually works in creating the neat algorithm. Honestly, I'm pretty hopeful that this code is gonna work first try. It looked pretty good to me. Let's see if they actually start coming. They start coming and they don't stop coming. Oh, okay, wait, what? What is happening? Why do they spawn and then they despawn? What? Who is destroying them? What is this? Why did he write some code to the... Why? Dude, please reply to me. Please, ChatGPT. No, please, ChatGPT, I didn't want to question your overlordness. I didn't want to question your position of power. Please, don't kill me. Oh, dude, if AI takes over, I'm gonna be the first one to die. Okay, so I just figured out what he wanted to do, and maybe if I read his response, I would have figured it out earlier. So this is my fault. But basically, he was trying to despawn the cacti when the cacti moved past the player. Oh, I see where the problem is. Do you see it? He's using the spawn point as the player position. He doesn't have to do that. He has to actually use the player position. Now, the problem is, though, I made him regenerate the code, and now I actually found a different solution. So I'm gonna tell him, pretend that this is the solution you came up with, and I'm gonna try to paste the code, and let's see if it actually does this. Now, I know where the problem is, and it's within this line right here, but I'm gonna try to, you know, take it out on him and see if he can actually find it. Okay, it might be because the spawn condition is triggered too soon. You can adjust this spawn condition. Okay, let's see what's the... Oh, okay, it's just using a variable. Maybe ChatGPT doesn't remember the spawn point. It's actually the spawn point of the cacti and not the spawn point of the player. Or maybe he thinks that the cacti spawns next to the player, but that doesn't make any sense. Okay, there you go. I'm gonna tell him to fix the problem and use my code. So as you can see right now, instead of a spawn point, it's gonna also get the player transform, which is what we want. And the code should be the same exact one as before. You forgot all of the code. Also, I love how he's using the find game object with tag player, because in the past we actually tagged the player with the player tag for no reason. Okay, you know what? Whatever, I'm not gonna argue. We're gonna use this code instead. I have no idea if it works. It doesn't work because what is this? It took a while, but this should work now. It's using the player transform, and it's moving the cacti. This looks good. This looks like the code I want. So let's copy the code. Oh, okay, so it's using the player position plus an offset. This is probably what I wanted to do from the beginning, but I didn't allow him to. So, you know, it's probably smarter than me, and I'm just, you know, messing him up because I want to do the things my way. Okay, yeah, there's fun. Oh my god, oh my gosh, yeah, this is cute. This is just how I remember. This is like, yeah, literally, this is the game. I love this game so much. Yes, yeah, Dino Google Game. Yes. Okay, so there are a bunch of problems. First of the problems is that it's actually using the live position of the player. So when the player jumps, the cacti actually jump with the player. That is not supposed to happen. And also, the player rotation is not fixed. Now, let's see if we can solve both of these problems. Okay, this is a very complicated way to fix the problem. No, this is not the way to go. Okay, I'm gonna suggest him the solution. Let's see if he actually implements it. Alright, so he's gonna store the player position in a variable so it doesn't change, and then he should use that to actually generate the thingy thing. Okay, thank you very much. The only problem is that it's using the player position X, which I don't know what it is, and I don't want to know, honestly. I'm scared. Okay, after a bunch of back and forth, I finally got the code that I wanted, and let's hit play, and let's see if this actually works. Okay, so we got our cacti spawning, and I mean, I don't know if they are despawning, actually. They are supposed to. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they are despawning, and I don't see them despawning. I see them spawning, though, so that's a little bit of a problem. But you know what? It's good. It's fine. Okay, ChatGPT, you did good. Okay, so now it's also compensating for the height of the cacti. I don't know if this is gonna work, honestly, because I don't know if I made the sprite sheet the way that he wanted me to. I think it's impossible for the height to be consistent because these sprites actually suck. Look at this. So I mean, I'm kind of making ChatGPT play, you know, a pretty dead battle right here. Okay, in the meantime, he actually generated me the code for the end game and all of that stuff. He wants me to create a new game object under the player for, you know, checking the collision. And you know what? I'm gonna give him that. It's fine. Now, this code he generated is all fine and dandy. The only problem is that, you know, we actually want to add AI into this game. So, you know, we don't want the game to end when one player dies. We just want to, you know, save their score. So you know what, let's probably implement the AI first, and then let's figure out how to end the game. Now, it wants me to use an external library, but that's a little bit like cheating, you know? Because then, I mean, it tells me to use the documentation of that library, and it's gonna tell me, it's not updated, so you need to read the documentation. I don't wanna read the documentation, so you know what? No, we are not using an external library. And now, if you don't know how NIT works, it's basically a genetic algorithm where you have a bunch of actors, and then the best ones get picked, they reproduce, they get mutated, and then this keeps iterating and iterating, and it's gonna tell me, oh my gosh, what is going on? I broke ChatGPT. Oh, there you go. It's like, oh, it's a complex task, there is no way, this is a simplified example. Dude, we're playing a Dino game, you don't need a complex example. Okay, there you go. This is a basic example for making this work. I mean, you know what? Basic example is good enough for me. And there you go, we got our AI, except didn't actually paste any. Copy paste, please. Can you? Okay, thank you very much. Implementation of the neural network. Okay, I mean, but you need to. Oh my gosh, dude, you didn't do anything. Okay, let's see if we can actually do this. Okay, so he actually generated me a bunch of code, but I think he kind of got lost on the way because he was using NIT, but then when he actually generated the neural network, he tried to use like backpropagation. So, I mean, I think we need to restart from scratch. Okay, so I was about to tell him actually what the inputs and the outputs of our neural network are supposed to be. And you know, what I actually wanted to do was a neural network where, you know, the dinosaur knows its Y position and also it knows the distance from the closest cacti. And then the output is whether the dinosaur must jump or not. And you know, this is actually a neural network that is gonna work because it seems pretty simple. And then with the genetic algorithm, it can actually improve and be more fit. But the problem is, this is actually cheating, okay? If I tell him what neural network to implement, I feel like it's way too easy. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna start a new conversation, and I'm actually gonna ask him what the inputs and outputs are gonna be. And then, based on this response, I'm actually gonna try to ask him to actually generate the code. I think this might be a better way, and, you know, a more entertaining way to proceed. And let's see if he actually gives me a response. I hope he uses the, you know, the stuff that I just said. But let's see. Okay, distance to the nearest obstacle, this is what I suggested. height difference between the dinosaur and the next obstacle. I feel like that's a little bit, I mean, it's a little bit too much. Dinosaur current speed, I mean, that's constant, so I mean, it's not an input. Binary inputs for the presence of obstacles. Oh, I didn't think of this. Oh, this is actually very smart, I'll take note. Oh, and there is also a duck action. Well, we didn't implement this, so there is no duck action. Okay, so it seems like the inputs are gonna be these three, and the output is gonna be this one. So it looks like it's similar to how I intended it, but he actually wants to add 2 more inputs, which is the height difference between the dinosaur and the next obstacle, which I think makes sense, and I guess it's to discern whether the obstacle is, you know, a single one or a multiple one. And what I'm probably gonna do is, instead of making this, you know, height difference, I'm gonna make this a 0 or a 1. A 0 if the obstacle is of the first type, and a 1 if it's a type of the second type. Okay, so we made some progress, because probably telling the AI to just say, do AI, is not gonna work. So now that we know the inputs, I actually told ChatGPT to actually use these inputs, and actually try to get them from the game we created. Now I parse them as distance of the dino from the closest cactus, type of cactus, and distance of the closest cactus from the nearest cactus. Now maybe I didn't phrase this too well, because I don't know what he understood for nearest cactus. As you can see, I don't know what this code is, but you know, this is some code, so we're just gonna paste it into the thingy thing. And I also asked to actually process the output of the network, and as you can see, he's doing that. So if the output is greater than 0.5, it means that we should jump, else we should not jump. So we got the inputs and outputs of our neural network, and naturally this is using the cactus manager, but we're not referencing it, so I'm just gonna get the reference to it, okay? I'm not gonna make him do all of the work. He also probably already did this above, but I just missed it, so you know, but I'm gonna make this private and just get it back from here. And look at that, we also have GitHub Go Pilot helping me, so you know, in theory, I'm not writing the code by myself. Okay, the only problem is that this is private, of course, so let's make it public. And then we have our inputs generated by the AI, and we know what to do when we have outputs. So we have the inputs and the outputs of our neural network. We just have to actually code the neural network, which is the most important part. So now, what is this? Oh, this is the code to actually check the cactus type. It didn't actually generate this code, because inside each cactus, we don't actually have a cactus component that stores its type. We never wrote this, and ChatGPT doesn't know this. My cacti prefabs, that's a really cool expression. Can you add this in? And also stored and based on the prefab used on instantiation. Okay, yeah, and this seems like the code that does that. But you know what? Actually, I'm gonna keep it simple too. I can just copy this code, put it inside the cacti, and then change this from the prefab, from the inspector. Yeah, see, it's actually telling me to do this instead. It's telling me to attach this script and change it from the inspector. But obviously, I told him to also update the spawning function, so this is why he's also doing that. But you know, we actually don't need to do this. So okay, now we got our inputs and we got some code that actually works. We need to make the AI, we need to make the neural network, we need to make the genetic algorithm system. Now, I have no idea how to tell him to do it and actually, you know, attach it to the game. Okay, this is the same code for now. I don't know what you have changed. You didn't change anything. Oh, you just created a new neural network. But yeah, this is not what I wanted. I mean, I guess this kind of works, but you know, you need to define the neural network class. So I'm gonna ask it to redefine the neural network class and also, you know, define it in a way that can be included with neat. But it might be a little bit complicated. Okay, so instead of this, we have this. And naturally, we don't have neural network though, because we don't have a neural network. We don't know what a neural network is. Okay, there we go. Let's see if he actually makes this. And this is going to be a feed-forward neural network algorithm. I have some videos on how this works, actually, if you want a more serious video and more serious approach to this. I mean, I have high expectations that we can actually get this to work eventually, but it's not going to be easy. But let's see. So this is the feed-forward logic. This seems right. Okay, it's using the sigmoid function, I think. Yeah. Also, a thing to note is, I mean, this is a pretty expensive function, but also right here, calculating the inputs is also really expensive, because every single tick, we are fetching every single cacti, which there are only 3, but you know, this is happening every single tick. So maybe we are solving the problem, but this is not maybe the best way to solve it. Actually, one thing I should have done too is, you know, do a function on the dinosaur controller that actually evaluates the dinosaur and its score when the generation has ended. But you know, we still don't have any concept of what a generation is, so it's gonna be a little bit complicated telling the AI that. And also, you are dumb. The neural network is initialized using an array, right here you are using 2 integers, but yeah, that's fine. Also, is this including the hidden layers? I don't know if this is including the hidden layers or not. Yeah, I think it is, but I don't know how many hidden layers there are, because we're gonna be using neat, so the number of hidden layers, it changes. How did he actually implement the mutate function? I'm curious. Oh, it's only mutating the weight and biases, it's not actually mutating the shape of the neural network. But honestly, I feel like that's good enough. There might be a way to make this work without actually, changing the shape of the neural network. If you guys don't know how neat works, this is not a video to explain it, but basically it mutates the shape of the network in order to actually solve the problem. But right now, this code right here has a network that doesn't change. Okay, let's ask it how many hidden layers do you suggest for this. Now it's gonna say something enormous, like 200, 500,000 or something. But no, I feel like even with 3 or 5, it might be, one layer of 3 or 5 neurons. Single hidden layer and increase the complexity is needed. Yeah, but how many neurons? Okay, 10 or 20. We're gonna go for 10. I think 10 is way too much, but, we're gonna do it anyway. Okay, so now I need a way to actually, make these neural networks advance and mutate. So, yeah. Okay, also, let's ask ChatGPT to make it so when a dino died, we actually know that it died, and we generate the fitness score. So this is what we should do next, I think. Okay, there we go. With this prompt, it should be able to understand what to do. And let's see. Okay, let's see what it wants me to do. Get inputs. We already have that. No need to do this again. Yeah, we already have all of that. Okay, die, fitness score, distance traveled. How do I get the distance traveled? Oh, this is how I get it. No, wait. Okay, the game manager. Okay, this is good. Where do I get the distance travel? Oh, okay, from the update function. Everything else remained the same except for the die function. Now, the only problem is that the die function is never getting invoked. So, this is cute. Some multiplier. We're gonna not use any multiplier for now. Actually, you know what? We are gonna make it squared because, we are smart and, we want the smartest to survive. Oh, he also made the factory to spawn the dinosaurs. I actually didn't ask him to do this right now, and he did. So, thank you very much. This is where he wants to perform the neat operations. Okay, so when we ask him to do the stuff, we're gonna add it here. And I guess I can copy this code and create the game manager. Why is he changing the cactus manager too? Oh, he actually also did the collision. Okay, that's cool. So right now, he's actually invoking this die function. I said that this was not gonna get invoked, and now it's getting invoked. Okay, thank you very much. Dude, this is actually marvelous. Like, it's doing everything I'm asking him to. And, sometimes he messes stuff up, but it can iterate and make stuff work. Now, obviously, he changed the tag as well. The tag used to be player, but we cannot expect it to remember everything. So we need to, sometimes take a stand and actually change stuff. Okay, this looks good. Maybe one thing we have to do is when a dino actually dies, we make him stop moving. I also need to remember to include the game manager script into the managers so that everything works. Oh, and also I need a reference to the Dino prefab itself, so let's generate the prefab. This all seems to be good. I'm looking at the code. I didn't read it entirely, but this looks like some actual code. So, it should work. Yeah, let's just hit play and see what happens. Oh, generation size, 10. 10 it might be a little bit too small. Oh my gosh, what just happened? Oh no, they're getting destroyed. Oh no. Oh no, more exceptions. Okay, and we're back. So the main problem is that the dinosaurs are colliding with each other. Are they actually jumping? Now, there is no AI attached to this, so, there is, like, no way that they're jumping on their own. Okay, this is not better. Okay, so I told him the problem. Let's see if he can find a solution. Okay, thank you very much. This is a solution I would have approved, so using the collision matrix. Okay, there we go. What is going on? Why do they just start going off on a tangent, just run? What is happening? Some of them just start flying off randomly. I think it's because the weights are random, so they randomly jump for no reason. So that is cute. Also, they are still colliding. What is happening? Okay, so now in theory it should be good. But also, I saw that the jump function is busted because it's applying a force every single tick, so they go flying. I don't think this is how the game is supposed to work. But it's fine. So this guy is actually jumping right before the cacti, which is it's a strategy. I don't think it's actually a strategy. This guy is already randomly a good AI, just to show you how bad this game is broken. So the problem is the collision is not a trigger, but it's actually a real collision because the dinosaur has a real collider that is not a trigger. So we either need to add another collider to the dinosaur, or we need to set this to on collision enter, not on trigger enter. But let's see if ChatGPT can figure this out. Yeah, so problem 1 is the problem, but we don't want to change that. We actually want him to write a different code. Let's see if we can actually change this function, move it to the dinosaur controller, so it actually fires, because, yeah, let's see if it works. Okay, so this function right here, yeah, okay. This looks good enough, but it's not using the game man. Okay, and you know what, I'll give you this, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, he just forgot this line of code here, but it's fine. And I guess we need another tag for the cactus. Oh my gosh, what is going on? What is up? Oh my gosh, what is up? Oh, help, please help me. Dude, no, my computer is crashing. No. They spawned right inside the cacti, so another population ended. So it started spawning like infinite generations. And yeah, this is not good. Yeah, I feel like this is not good. Okay, let's see if this actually fixes the problem. Also, apologies for the inconvenience caused. Okay, that's pretty nice of him. Okay, so now in the check_all_dead function, there were these comments. I actually want him to implement these comments so that we can actually improve the generation. And now this is gonna be the hardest part, but hopefully you can just get some sample code. Wait, why do we have a list of all of the dinosaurs that are spawned? I have no idea. I mean, it's good that we have it. Hopefully he remembers that we have it. Okay, I gave him the code and I told him to implement this part. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, so it wants me to create a new class that only has the neural network and the fitness store. That makes sense. And then, okay, add a field to store the current generation. Okay, that makes sense. This is the same function as before, but I don't know what it's doing. Oh, it's clearing the current generation. Okay. Okay, so this code right here, the check_all_dead, let's see what it does. It first sorts the array of the generation based on their fitness, and then it will generate a new generation that should only have the top performers. So it will get from the pool of this performance some children that are, you know, the top dinosaurs. And then it should actually, yeah. Oh, it actually does crossover. Okay, thank you ever so much. Oh, it doesn't actually do crossover. It just tells me that it does crossover, but it didn't implement it. Okay, and it didn't implement perform mutation either. So let's tell him to implement these. Okay guys, so I think I did a really good amount of progress. So basically what I did is, I asked him to generate some different code, and it actually was a mess, because he actually forgot the neural network code that he generated in the past. So what I did is, I went back to the original code that he provided, and I pasted in back the entire code. So as you can see here, I told him, take this code and read it, and it read it back to me. But now there are just two problems with this code. The crossover function is actually using this weird gene stuff, which is complicated because, you know, the neural network code that he generated doesn't care about genes. It just changes weights and biases randomly. So what I told him to do is, don't perform any crossover, and also use the mutate function from the neural network, because I remember that he implemented one of these. Yeah, which I have no idea what it does, but he implemented this function. So I just told him, use this function instead, and remove the crossover altogether. And he actually did that. And so if I just copy this and go into the game manager, and I go to the mutate, here, if I just change all of this code and replace it with the new code, now in theory there shouldn't be any errors. Okay, except mutate actually accepts a parameter, which I don't know what parameter it is. Oh, the mutation rate. Oh, because this takes care of the rate itself too. Okay, well that's concerning. And naturally it's gonna tell me, well, it depends on a bunch of factors, but I just want an answer. Okay, I just want you to have an answer. Okay, around from 001 to 005, we're gonna make it 005. We're also gonna make the population bigger, because, you know, 10, it's too little. Oh, yeah, another thing, this is gonna crash my computer. I need to kill the dinosaurs when the generation ends, right? So it's doing spawn dinosaurs, but it's actually not killing the previous dinosaurs, which is a little bit tough. Okay, let's see if he actually improves over this. Oh, but it's doing dinosaurs.clear and destroying the dinosaurs. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. Yeah, so let's see if this is working. I'm scared, and I don't know if this is gonna work or not, but these are a bunch of iterations. I mean, yeah, these are probably all dead. The guys that are jumping are surviving. What just happened? Why was there an exception? Yeah, they're jumping a little bit too high, which is not good for my liking. They're gonna die eventually, I hope, because it's, yeah, right now they are really going really well, because the game is too simple. So we either need to make the game a little bit harder. We also need to understand what is happening right here. Oh yeah, I see what the problem is. We are actually never adding anything to the current generation. So thank you ever so much, ChatGPT. Yeah, we probably need to add the dinos to the current generation when we create a generation. So yeah, the problem is this code right here is not actually getting run. So it's getting run for the second generation, but not for the first one. But now I don't know if he actually remembers this, because it's been a long time ago. But if he remembers, I'm gonna be really surprised. Let's see. Okay, he seems to be remembering, and yeah, this is the code I wanted. Also, just for my own sanity, when they die, let's just make the sprite. Oh, actually, it's tell ChatGPT to do that. Okay, okie doke, they are jumping, and I can see them turning transparent. The only problem is, oh, okay, a new generation spawned. I feel like the generation is doing worse, not better. Okay, but yeah, they're also mutating randomly, so of course it's gonna be a really bad algorithm. And also, they should only jump if they're not jumping. So, so this is some code that got removed. Okay, so now this seems a little bit better. So as you can see, there is the guy that is constantly jumping, and okay, that guy almost already beat it. That guy almost already did it. Okay, this guy is surviving. Hopefully this guy doesn't survive too long. Oh, come on, please. No, this guy is already good off the shelf. No, I don't want this. What is this? Please, I just need to test if the next generation works. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's see the next generation. Oh, it seems like the code is working now. I don't know how good of an algorithm this is. It's probably really, really bad. I mean, right now it's just working, not because the AI is actually learning something, but just because randomly, out of 100 people, one of them would know to jump when, you know, the cacti is near. So in theory, this is working, but actually, I don't know what this is doing. So let's make the spawn interval much, much lower. Spawn offset much lower. Okay, this is much harder. What is this? I don't know if my network is actually learning anything, because as you can see, it's not like they are doing strategies. They're just mutating randomly. But the best ones are actually dying every time. So, I mean, I actually don't even know if there is a proper strategy to this. It might be a little bit too hard for my network to handle. Also, I don't know how they're jumping higher sometimes. Yeah, so again, it seems like more are using the same strategy. See, they were 2 before, now they are more. So this is working, at least to a certain degree. Let's snipe them again, and bam. Okay. Yeah, see, a lot of them are using the same strategy, but they got kinda unlucky there. So, okay, let's just make natural selection do its thing. And it seems like only this guy survived. I don't know. I have no idea if this is actually evolving or not. But, you know, this is an algorithm. It's not I don't know if it's a working algorithm, but definitely is an algorithm. Probably messing with the parameters, figuring out what's happening to the inputs, like what inputs are we exactly passing, will make you work this out pretty easily. Yeah, also another thing is, this guy is getting 30% of the population. I feel like that's a lot. We shouldn't get much less, like, only get the best one. So this is 100 times 0.01. We will only get the most fit one, because, you know, if you get too much of the population, all of the other population is like bad. So also, I want to know how select parent works. Is he actually doing it based on fitness? Yeah, I think it is. So yeah, this all looks good. I only want to know if the fitness is actually being used. So okay, this guy has a lot of fitness. All of these guys are really low fitness. So it seems like it's working. The fitness is getting calculated correctly. Oh, the mutation rate is happening on every node, so we are mutating everyone. This is the problem. Oh, okay, yeah. And once again, this is probably human error. Like, his code worked, but it wasn't integrated correctly, so I slightly changed it and made this mistake. So, yeah, now it's doing the thingy thing. Okay, so this should be enough, and now it should actually work. And, you know, I'm gonna give some credit to ChatGPT right here, okay? He actually wanted to implement a much more complex system, and I kind of forced him down to do something simpler. And he kind of had to remember that, you know, I changed the code, so a bunch of stuff he couldn't have known, and generated these glitches. But now, in theory, the mutation rate is going to be much lower. It was 100% before. So now, in theory, once we get something good, like this guy, we should snipe him as soon as possible, so it doesn't affect the mutation too much. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna call it a day. This is good. This worked. Okay, we got much further than I thought, and honestly, this is doing something, which is already too much. I'm gonna leave this project on GitHub, even if it's really messy, and there probably are bugs. It's probably filled with bugs, and it's doing something that we're not even expecting. But the key takeaway from this is that it was fully generated by ChatGPT. I only asked him to fix stuff that I figured out. And, you know, I only talked to him about the visual problems that I saw, but I tried my best never to actually tell him what to do. And I tried to leave him with freedom for every single thing, even, you know, finding the input and outputs of the layers and all of that stuff. And it seems like he did a pretty good job. So yeah, you can mess around with this and, you know, have fun. I could do a second video on this if you guys enjoy this, where we actually try to polish this and see how much better we can make it with ChatGPT. But, you know, I must say, I'm really proud of, you know, the way it worked. And I feel like this is the most useful tool of this century, because literally, I didn't need any experience with C#. Maybe I needed, you know, experience with computer science in general and all of that stuff. But if I was doing this on another framework like Godot or Unreal Engine, and I didn't know anything about the framework, this would actually be really useful, because all of the stuff, you know, related to the framework, it figured it out for me. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I certainly had fun making this, and I'm really excited for the final result. And yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. See ya!